I know. She comes over. I'm gonna do a roll call vote, just so that's on the recorder.
Okay,
So
good.
people know.
Yes.
Audio's on.
Sure.
We all set? I'd like to welcome everybody to the Town of Alexandria Board meeting for August 20th. Please stand for the pledge. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I've also learned that we need to acknowledge our presence as far as board members, so we can say our name and here for our meeting. So I'm going to start with Brent Sweet here.
Tim Davidson is here.
Gene Kring is here.
Sean Thomas here.
Dale Honeyman here.
Okay, well, good. Okay. Motion to approve and pay the abstracted bills.
I'll make a motion.
Second by Tim. Second by Sean. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, none. We need to approve the town board meeting minutes.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Dale.
Second.
Second by Tim. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, none. Okay, we'll open it up with public concerns. Does anybody have any public concerns?
Good.
Kurt? Yep.
Two. Number one is about the artesian well, who's 65 years old this year, and the next one is 100% full size. The artesian well was founded in 1960 by accident. A drilling team came up. It's 100 miles from 9 Mile nuclear base. They needed a sample of the soil to make sure there's an earthquake within 100 miles of 9 Mile. They set the drill down on Doug Williams' road, Route 2, right by Doug Williams' farm, and they hit a gusher. They hit the artesian well. So they had to move. Same, not latitude, had to be the same latitude. They ended up on Albert Hodges' farm on Bailey Settlement Road. And the last we knew when we talked to them, they had drilled down 700 feet and it looked like everything was okay. Now, that artesian well has run until it started to dry up about 95, 96. And it ran, it was dry until March 11th, 2011, when Japan had the biggest earthquake in the history of the world, 9.3 on the Richter scale. I went on a Thursday with Bobby Calhoun to butcher. We butchered every Thursday, and when we came back, I said to Bobby, that well's running. We went up to the corner of Williams and Fitchett Road, turned around and come back, and sure as heck it was running. We think the tsunami and the earthquake done it. I don't know, but it's run now since 2011, and it's still running good. Years ago, the town put a sign up, no dumping, and when it went dry, they took the sign down. We have no problem. There's 3 of us that police the area. In the last 3 weeks, I found no debris. Everybody loves the place. Just a little history on the, I didn't know it come back to life. They did.
Wow.
The second issue is this 100% assessment we're gonna go through. I am on the grievance board. The closest thing to me is a Grim Rooper. Not a good deal.
Did you say grouper?
We don't have, yeah. I wanted to kind of cover it up. It's all I've got. There used to be 5 of us on the board. 1 passed away, the other one retired or left town, so there's 3 of us. 3 of us, after your 100% assessment, is going to be, the reval in this room is going to be unbelievable. and the year of the reval is 2027. I'll be 83 that year. I don't know if I can take it or not, but I'll stick around. If I die, I should get double indemnity. But there's a few things I can't understand. Years ago, there was 3 assessors elected by the town people. Ross Hunter, Glenn Williams, and Frank Holton. I think he lived down on Carnegie Bay by you.
Yes, he did, Kurt.
And, they, of course, the inflation rate back at that time was 0.5%. Maybe 1, not 2, maybe 1. The same truck costs you $1,600, the next year $1,700. Today it's $50,000, $60,000. And they never had a reval. These 3 guys never had a reval. 3 weeks they worked on the books. They went around to the islands. The town hired Riley Ledger. He was a fishing guy that Goose Bay to take him around, and they actually got out of the boat and walked around. I don't understand why our assessment is like it is. Increase the value to match our inflation. Maybe you people should do that. Would that work? Because we're 50% of full value. When I got on the board, I was there 6th and 7th year, we were 94%. How did it get back to 50%? Because land went up faster than inflation. It's getting to the point, people, where we can't afford our taxes. In this town, like I told them on the school board, and we're fortunate to have 2 members of the school board here, when they do 100% evaluation, 60% of that budget from the school, not the 40, that's for other things, 60% when I was on the board was for your land wealth per student, which we had 746 kids, now they got a little over 500, and your income per student, which Alexandria was the second from the bottom. The only one poorer than the kids that went to school and the families was Belleville Henderson. The rich ones, richer than us, we were second place, was Adirondack. The town, maybe you should write I don't know why. How did it get out of hand? We sealed the books, or we partners sealed the books on this reval. No, not reval, assessment board. One person mailed a letter in, it was stamped the last day, so we had to come back to a meeting. That person's land, people, was bought in 2004. It was assessed, I don't know what he paid for it, or she, whoever owns it, I can't tell you who it is, I don't want to get sued. But that land was assessed for, in 2004, $14,400. It ran for 1 year, 2 years, 3, 4, 5, 10, 15, 20, 21 years. Got caught by the county. They assessed that land for $317,000. That's $303,000 more than it had been assessed for the last 20 years. Somebody isn't doing their job. We reduced him to $290,000, but when the reval goes through, I'll bet he's up to $350,000. But in those 20 years, and you can't blame the guy if you're getting away with it, boy, open your mouth. You can't blame the supervisor, you can't blame the town board. Nope. The assessor, right? But in those 20 years, that man had failed to pay what he was supposed to, which is $60,000. And that's just the land, my boys. We got 2 school board members. He didn't pay that either. We're gonna fix that. You can't do nothing to the guy. I already checked it out. All they told me, Kurt, is change your diapers and go on. But I think someone needs to watch that a little bit closer in the future than they've done in the past. And And as far as the taxes, my taxes keep going up a little bit, so on and so forth. I go to work every morning to Wells Island State Park, and I go up Route 13. That's the first road on the right when you go underneath 81 as you're heading toward Lafargeville. And in 4/10 of a mile, I've counted 14 new buildings the Amish and other people put up. 14. That's in less than half a mile, crying out loud. I said, we're gonna take a 4-mile run around the town of Alexandria. I got to 44 and quit. With all these new buildings being assessed, I wanna know how the hell come my taxes keep going up. And thank you.
Thank you, Kurt.
Thanks, Kurt.
Anybody else for public concerns?
I have a question. I'm from Point Vivian, Julie Reagan. I'm interested in this culvert in Swan Bay, et cetera. Well, I know there's gonna be a report. Will we have a chance to respond after, or is this our only?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, you're doing a report, right?
Sure, I'll give everybody an update as to where we are, and it's further down on the agenda, not too far down.
Okay.
So we can ask questions then?
I'm fine with that. You guys okay with that?
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Yeah. Yeah,
Thank you.
okay. Any other public concerns? Okay, we'll move on. Okay. Assessor report. Here's number 1 here. During the month of August, the assessment staff has been working on the following: permits, sales review of the Harbor Villas. 107 building demolition permits have been issued. The staff has been collecting and inventorying new construction and demolition. After the information has been gathered, evaluation is done. We are keeping a spreadsheet on the progress to ensure that all parcels are completed properly. Sales reviews for past 5 years have been completed. Each sale that occurred during this period was evaluated for accuracy. If discrepancy was found, the sale was retransmitted to the New York State Office of Real Property Services. This is a vital function of the assessment department to ensure that only good market sales are used in the evaluation process. The Harbor Villas were reviewed for accuracy. Inventory was examined to make sure the correct square footage was assessed on parcels that were split between the village and the town. The town and the village line passes through 16 parcels. We expect to complete this by next Monday. That's the assessor report. Highway report, Zach?
We put shoulders on Chet Road, Clear Lake, Snyder Road, and Barrett Boulevard, and then we turned around and surface treated them along with Hunter and Williams Road. We've been helping neighboring towns with surface treat and paving. We replaced pipes on the limestone from County Route 1 to where we're 2 miles down, where we're going to pave in September. We've continued working on Limestone Road on the other end in anticipation of paving in May and June of next year. Been hauling our winter sand. We're done having salt hauled in for the year, so we're refilling the barn for winter. Been helping the village out quite a bit. We hauled a bunch of clear stone in. We had 3 trucks down there 3 days last week for the milling project for Walton and High Street. Did some sloping and some tree trimming, helping with that on the pickleball court and on Village Street. And we had the brush tractor out some, and then it broke down. So that's going to be out going again. Grass really isn't growing, so we're going to brush. That's it.
Okay, moving on, zoning report. We loaded that stuff in our supporting documents on our website. The monthly report for code enforcement, and there also is a report of all the new permits that have been applied for in the last month. Water and sewer report and the DPW report, those are all on our website under supporting documents. And then next I'm moving to Sandy, the clerk report.
It's also on the website. All reports were filed on time. $910 was turned over to the town in collection fees, and $12.56 for conservation fees. Hunting licenses for the 2025 season are available along with the deer management permits. And it's been pretty quiet.
Thank you. That it? Thank you. Okay, Rob?
Sure. Well, we can start off with the culvert. everybody is probably here for. And I don't know if you were here at last month's meeting, I'll stand up, so, we made application to, there's no less than 4 different agencies. There's the Department of State, DEC, Army Corps of Engineers, and the Office of General Services, all right, to ask them permission to reinstall the culvert at the outlet of, or under St. Lawrence Park Road, at the outlet of Swan Bay. I'll call it the outlet. It used to be the outlet. We've heard back from 2 of the agencies, from the Department of State and the Army Corps of Engineers, requesting additional information, all right? Additional information ranges from, is it consistent with your LWRP? We have to go through an analysis for that. They also want to know any details about the culvert, the existing culvert, if we know, or if we can find out. They want to have a work plan to find out how we would protect the area during the replacement and any dredging that is going to occur. So they've asked for a fair amount of information, both the Department of State and the Army Corps. We've not heard back from the DEC yet, okay? Although they have requested a wetland delineation of that area, which we've conducted the field work, but we haven't put the full delineation report together yet for them. So we're waiting to get some feedback from them. We did receive a copy of a map of the area from 1937 that does clearly show the old culvert and the dredged area. I think you folks may have seen that. So I think that's the best information we have so far on where that culvert might be, because it's actually a meets and bounds survey of that area prepared back in 1937. So, so we do have that information. But that's kind of where we are today with the whole process. It's a lengthy process. It's not anything that's going to be settled in a month or 2 or 3. It's probably going to be, you know, a while through the winter as we give them additional information on the replacement. So that's where we are. I don't know if you've got questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Will the public be able to express any concerns to those 4 entities?
I'm not quite sure of the public hearing process, if there will be one. Usually, the Army Corps does notify adjacent property owners as part of the process. I can't tell you how big that area is that will be notified by the Corps. Certainly, you know, the town board will be kept up to speed on the process.
And even though there was a culvert in 1937, do they take into consideration the current river conditions and traffic and population?
I can't answer that. That's not our call. That's
just because there was an existing one in 1937, I'm a little confused, like, is that grounds to say, oh, we can replace that, or, I mean,
I don't know
we're talking
that. I do know that there's been a lot of discussion about the impact both upstream and downstream. Obviously, the people in Swan Bay, they want to improve their water quality, and they feel that by allowing flow through, it's going to improve the water quality in Swan Bay. You know, on the other side of the corn, people downstream, which I assume you are,
we're Vivian, yeah.
Downstream, you're concerned about other impacts. So that'll be a call that the DEC will make on how that is evaluated and what needs to be evaluated. Okay, and a cost-benefit analysis to whether or not to move forward. So it's really not, you know, we're not there yet. Okay, right. That full evaluation, but I'm sure the DEC is going to provide some feedback on what further analysis and impact of downstream folks like yourself will be, and if it's significant.
Well, it's not just, it's our bay, but it's also the wetlands behind that.
Sure, yep, absolutely.
Monkey breeding grounds and all of that, yep. And the impact, I don't know, I mean, is there another alternative? Are they looking at other alternatives besides replacing a culvert, such as aeration and things?
Not at this time, no. right now, the sole purpose was, you know, to look and see if that culvert can be replaced. That's what the town board has asked me to do, so that's what I'm doing. I'm still soliciting feedback from the agencies. So, until we go through that process, right, I can't give you much more information other than what we gleaned.
I would just think looking at other alternatives too, in this day and
Yeah,
age,
sure.
would be important too,
Yeah.
rather than just replacing a 100-year-old culvert.
Yeah.
We talked about that last week, and I'm glad you're here because you're the second order of effect of something that happened. And we talked to the other side of the bay last month, and we gave them the same justification that it's really not directly up to us, it's up to the experts and the second and third order of effect, as you've alluded to, of the environmental impacts of muskie grounds, and they said, well, that used to be a muskie breeding ground, but it's good because our justification to them was exactly what you're pointing out, is that we don't know, and we're gonna leave that to the experts, the DEC and the Army Corps of Engineers, to do the data-driven decisions to make sure that we're well informed before we execute anything. Because it may get to a point where the experts have done that analysis, as Rob's alluded to, and it's not in the best interest of the overall, you know, town to pursue it. So, and we did talk about other options as far as dredging, aeration, and all that stuff, but we're not even close to that. We wanna make sure, hey, this is the first step. Let's find out what the recommendation is from the experts.
Can the town make any restrictions on a number of housing area trailers and stuff that are dumping into Swan Bay? Can't the town make some restrictions? If you drive through there, it's unbelievable. The boats, the trailers.
Can we make restrictions on?
The people surrounding Swan Bay. I drove in there at the end of the 70s, and it was muddy and murky then.
Yeah.
It hasn't gotten any better, and I know there are some relief for sewage, but a lot of people, the boaters, everything else are dumping there. Also, is there some way we can get a picture of the culvert from 1937? Is it on the website?
Sure.
Isn't that in the application that's on the website on the front, on the first page of our website?
Yeah, the most recent map is not, in the application. We just received that a couple weeks ago, but we can put that on the town website.
It was just a map, or it's an actual photo?
It's a map.
Oh.
It's a map.
Proposed, perhaps?
No, existing. It showed existing conditions. Yep.
It must have been a lot narrower than it is now.
What's that?
It must have been a lot narrower than it is now.
Well, it shows the culvert, it doesn't give the size of the culvert, but it shows the location of the culvert and a channel both leading into the culvert and exiting the culvert. And that's what's shown on the map.
We can put that map on our website.
Sure.
Next to the DEC application.
Yep.
Okay. Sir?
Could you possibly attach any correspondence that you received from the DEC and the Army Corps to the permit application that you have on the website?
Yeah, I suppose we can. It's up to the town to do that, but
I don't see any reason why we can't, do you?
it's foilable. I mean, I
So
don't
it's
know if
public.
you wanted to go through a FOIL request for.
Save the foil.
Yeah, I know, but that's up to the town board.
It's good by me.
Go by me.
I don't have any problem with it.
Okay, so we'll add that on there and we'll get that from Rob.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Concerns? Okay, Rob, I guess you can continue.
The other things I have aren't nearly as exciting. It's, speed signs, DOT has all the new information on speed signs again, so we'll wait on that. Another grant application round, due mid-September, September 15th, it's called WIA, Water Improvement Program. Brad just signed some application forms for those, so that'll be going in. That WIA is for, the 12 sewer, yeah.
That's the one that we had before that we had to give back, and now we're reapplying.
We're reapplying, yeah, exactly. So that's moving on. The, Dingman Point sewer survey, I'm sorry, water survey, Sandy gave me the updated list of responses, and I'll plot those on a map so we can kinda see the distribution of those, see if you wanna move forward with any potential water district there. Had a pretty good response. Sandy said about 2/3 response rate out of the 110, sent out. She got over almost 70 back, I think, so.
Wow.
Good response.
Good response.
Yeah.
If you take all of the, Wagner's did reply, and they were 37 sites themselves that said yes, so I think, what's to say at the bottom of the paper I gave you?
Yeah, it's about 1/3, 2/3, in favor. So, 36, not interested, and 65 interested, so. Yep.
Okay,
That's all I have, unless you have questions for me.
okay. We can move on then. We ordered those 2 LED telephone pole flags. They were supposed to come in a couple weeks, and they came in yesterday. Jay has them, they're looking at them and seeing about starting to put them up. And the zoning ordinance update, number 3, everything that Tom and the committee has worked on is on our website to look at. It's probably at least 40 pages long so far of updates, and they got quite a bit more work to do. That's all I have there.
Is this about the poles?
About the what?
Is this about the poles? I can't hear too good. Are we talking about the telephone poles?
Yeah, we had outlets put on 11 telephone poles so we can put LED decorations.
Yeah, that's okay, I don't wanna hear that part. But I've been on this board, in the assessment board, every 3 years we have to go out to Watertown and take a lesson. And every year I ask Roxanne Burns, how much do the town of Alexandria get from telephone poles on our land? We're supposed to get tax money, aren't we?
I don't know.
She don't know, never got an answer. Oh, I'll let you know. She never let me know.
Yeah,
I heard we get tax money from
for
the telephone poles on the town land.
I'll ask
How can
her.
we find out?
Yep.
Got our best guy on it.
I might be able to tell from the final settlement, because that's considered a franchise tax, and all the franchise taxes get billed and paid directly to the county, but there is a line when I reconcile with the county of what they've collected on our behalf. I don't wanna guess off the top of my head, but I know there is a line there, and, cause I asked the first year that I started, what is this for? Who are you collecting for me?
So when we pay our telephone bill and our light bill, there's tax on there. How much money does the town of Alexandria get back from that tax?
That I can't answer, because I think that tax would be more of a sales tax.
I don't think you can answer it because the county manipulates the money. Actually, the town of Alexandria isn't too bad for taxes. It's the county that causes the increase. But if someone in the town could find out how much money we get back from every telephone pole, I've been asked that 100 times. Maybe print it. Thank you.
I'll ask her again, or ask some people in that
You won't
department.
get nothing from Roxanne Burns, I'll guarantee you.
We have Alex that's here now. I don't know if you know Alex. He's pretty knowledgeable in those areas. See what he has to say.
Remember, she's the one that running the stairs of the retired judge for the retirement party and got away with it. That's my professor.
Professor. Okay, moving on. Burned down house in Redwood cleanup. So the situation there is we're getting prepared to use our new junk law to do that. There's a pending sale on that property going on that I was informed of. So we're asking questions about that, and I don't have all the answers yet as far as what's going on with that. And there's maybe one more issue here with this burned down house, is talking with Andy Silver that burned down house may not be covered in our junk law. It may be a separate issue. So just giving you guys a heads up on where we're there.
Wouldn't that fall under our health officer?
Unsafe building, it could be.
Unsafe building, hazard to children and people?
Is it on the ground?
Yeah.
Yeah,
County knocked it down for us, back when it happened.
Is
Yeah.
it fenced off? Did they secure the
no,
site?
no, it's not fenced off.
Neighbor kids are pulling stuff out into.
They did
the
fence
yard
it off
and
when they did the knockdown, didn't they, and then pulled it?
I'm not sure, but I know kids are climbing on top of it.
Might be an unsafe
Yeah.
issue, yeah.
Okay. Well, we need to look at that to see if we can go in there and clean it up.
Where is it?
In Redwood,
Redwood?
on Pine Street. Gotten a couple rough prices on cleaning it up, and it's something that, you know, we've talked with Zach about it, and something that we can do and needs to be done. Anybody else have any input into that?
No.
There'll be a process, you know, you have to talk to Andy about the process, so if you authorize that to go in, then you can recoup the cost of that, right?
Yep.
The notification process.
Okay, a breach policy this is a new requirement by the state of New York. I'm not sure how new it is, but it's in their paperwork. It's a policy that we have to have. I've done a draft and I've sent it to the board members, and I've also sent it to Andy Silver. There's a whole stack of policies right here, about 7 policies, and they're all at Andy Silver's, looking to be reviewed, and I think the board has them all now too. So just to give you an idea of where we're at with policies. I also sent you a letter, everybody a letter of, as you can see, the number of policies that I can find that we're required to have. And there's a lot to it, so that's what we've been working on. Speed reduction study with the town of Orleans. Everybody see that agreement on the computer here? So we've been asked to partner with Orleans to do a speed reduction study on Route 12. That's an $18,300 cost. We could split that with the town of Orleans. We're gonna look a little further about how many miles of road they do the study on in the town of Alexandria versus how many miles of road in the town of Orleans, to figure out how much each one of us is gonna pay for this. What are the board's feelings about moving forward with this? Orleans already voted to move forward.
They decided to move forward with the entire contract.
Either or, they said. Isn't that correct, Rob?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Tim had made a point before that they're paying for it.
And then it won't do our road.
They won't do our road.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. It's all within the same corridor, right?
They're basically
it's
doing
a common.
from Fisher's Landing to the Cloverleaf, right, 81. And they basically extend the analysis from the town line, as far as you wanted it to go on 12 towards the building.
So it's as far as we want it to go, plus we can have strips put down where we want strips, measuring strips.
Yeah, so they collect data, and the data is integral to you know, what their determination will be.
So we've had a expense-free discussion on this with the DOT already, right? And is it the pitch that these guys get the job done? Is that what the feeling is? Because I don't understand how we sit down and meet with, right, the head guy from the Department of Transportation, and he pretty much says, leave it as is, I think was the feedback that came from that meeting.
I can only speak for the presentation by the consultant. Basically, they collect the data independently of DOT. DOT, you know, there's a lot of difference in exactly where you collect the data, right? Number one. The DOT also, their standard is pretty simple, where they collect the data, they see what the existing travelers are traveling at, and then they set the speed limit at either 55 or the 85th percentile of the traveling public, all right? They don't take into account the number of ingress and egress off the highway for state parks. they don't take into account local businesses that, you know, like the Gal's Place is a big concern of the town of Orleans, right? A lot of traffic there, a lot of skid marks in the road, right?
Yep.
They don't take into account the increased Amish buggy traffic, right? DOT doesn't pay attention to that under their current rules, is my understanding. However, there's a new Federal Highway Administration law that came into effect that will probably have to be adopted by the state. And that does take all those ancillary items into effect when you set a speed limit. So the way they explained it is that the data that they collect in addition to these other factors, you know, they're gonna make a recommendation to reduce the speed limit if the data supports it, and then present that. Is it a slam dunk that the DOT will accept that? No. DOT still has the ultimate say. However, it was discussed, the politics of it as well are a factor, right? Speed limits get reduced for political reasons as well. So I think it's part of the big picture, but I think getting back to, you know, Tim's data-driven decision, I think it's data that you need to either support the decision or not.
I think to Sean's point, and my whole point along the line was that it was a data-driven decision initially, when they looked at that, corridor, and that there wasn't enough safety concerns to change it. And I don't think that's gonna change, and nor would I be, as I said offline, a proponent of changing something permanent for a summer problem. I think we do that now, which works. So above and beyond that, I don't see, you know, throwing the taxpayers' money away, in my opinion, for another study that may become a federal mandate a couple years down the road. So it's a no for me.
You were at the DOT meeting, and the DOT talked about a study that they're gonna do, that they had started, and they talked that they would have that study done, they said, I think 3 months.
Yeah, I don't recall. They did make reference that they were gonna do another evaluation.
Yeah.
But I don't think they gave a specific timeline. So, and I don't know what that evaluation was. I think that was in the context of the turning lane, adding a turning lane for Swan Bay Resort, okay? Not so much the speed. You know, that meeting was all about the turning lane, not about the speed. So I don't know the extent of the DOT's study.
Yeah, and if they move forward with something like a turning lane, does that alleviate some of the issues that we're paying for?
I don't know.
Right,
It
yeah.
could, sure. That's gonna have an impact,
Yeah.
you know.
So
I mean, my feelings are that we wait to see what the state comes out with, because they talked quite a bit about this study they were doing.
I mean, Sean brought up a good point offline, is, you know, I wanna be a good neighbor, don't get me wrong, but I don't wanna do it at the expense for the people, all of us in the district, that's all. If this was something earth-shattering and there was initial data points to support, like if we had a high accident rate in that area, which we had a study that said that it didn't meet that criteria at the time, so I don't understand how now potentially making it a political agenda that the taxpayers are paying for, to change and add a turning lane. So I'm all for being a good neighbor, I just don't think this is being a good neighbor. I think this is throwing the taxpayers' money away when we don't have to.
Okay.
I feel pretty similarly now. Orleans is going through with theirs no matter what. Be interested in getting that, you know, finding out what that turns up. And
You already have a reduced speed zone, right?
Right.
We do.
Like you said.
Yeah, and I think, you know.
You're really in a different category as Orleans. Orleans doesn't have, it's 55, in front of the bait store, in front of the gals, in front of Grass Point, you know, through the caution light, that's 55 all the way through there, and I think that's their.
Right.
And similar for them, it's a summer issue, really.
Sure.
So,
Yep.
you know, I'd just be interested to hear more from the state, maybe the federal government, you know, pushes on them at some point here before we go down that line. I do know that there's been, other side of that, there has been some public outcry about that area, about, you know, this type of stuff. I just think right now we have enough data, I would say, to say we've gone down that road. We're not convinced yet before we start spending more money.
And to your point, I mean, we already have addressed it, we do have a reduced speed limit in that area, so what more are we gonna get out of it, a turn lane?
Yeah.
A caution light? I mean,
Or extending that
right,
further towards the bay, but,
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, it's your call.
That's not typically a problem area though, is it? Like,
Yeah,
no.
to me, I drive it all the time, I don't see it as a big a problem as the town of Orleans stretch.
Yeah.
You guys are.
you know,
as good a
the
job.
turning into Swan, like, we all travel it a lot, but the turning lane into Swan Bay can be disruptive, but
Yep.
maybe in time.
And Clayton's situation is different in a lot of ways, and one of the ways is they have, I believe, 13 commercial entrances and exits in that area that they're talking about. I mean, we do have some too, but nowhere near that many. And one of the things we're wondering about here is, we're looking down the road as to development on Route 12 with water and sewer there, and what's gonna happen in the future. We don't need to spend the taxpayers' money now before that happens.
It's your call.
I agree.
It's good discussion though, and it's
Yep.
diversity of thought and making sure it's not an assertive conclusion. I'm glad we talked it out to make sure we see all different sides of the scenario.
Does anybody want to make a motion, or we just want to leave it?
Just leave it.
Hmm?
I don't think we need to make a motion.
Make a motion, I'll take
I
it.
don't think we do we?
No. Okay,
No, we're not accepting it.
no, we're not interested. Nope. Everybody good with that? We're not interested?
Yeah, I'm fine with it.
Okay. Okay, moving on, policies loaded on your Chromebooks along with the town policy protocol. I've loaded a lot of stuff in relation to policies on your Chromebook, and I've got Andy looking at a bunch of it to try to figure out, what we need to have and what we don't need to have. Just giving you guys an update on that. Sandy, the equivalent dwelling unit EDU change request for town of Redwood sewer water customers. Sandy?
So Jenna Stein has purchased the Eugene Catlin property on Route 37, heading towards, if you go down, 192 and then hang a left. It used to have 3 apartments in it. They are turning it into a single-family house. They would like the EDU count to go down from 2.5 to 1 EDU for both water and sewer.
Will they get a new C of O on that indicates that change, or no?
I don't know, they renovated it, is that?
They're in the process, they've got it completely tore apart, and
What
there wasn't 3 separate meters on it. It was just 1 meter for the 3 apartments, so it's not like we need to take meters off or anything like that. They had left it 1 meter for 3 apartments, and there's just 1 sewer pot going in, so there's not changes
We had a
there.
very similar situation at the Henderson house, correct? And didn't Jay and Jamie go on and confirm that they'd made the changes and then we made the changes?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's all that needs to happen, is like
Quite a while ago.
Internal inspection.
Yeah, not to,
Verify it.
I mean, I trust Jenna wholeheartedly, I just think on an issue
All
of
you gotta do is
fairness.
watch her on Facebook, it's all over Facebook.
No, but out of fairness and setting our past precedents,
Yeah,
we
no, I
had
agree.
looked at, it was done, then we bumped it back.
I was gonna say, we had the water sewer guy, yep.
If that's the case, I'll make a motion that we change your EDU to 1.
To 1.
Motion by Sean,
I'll second.
second by Dale. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? None. Scheduled budget workshops with highway, water, sewer, court, DPW, town office, and transfer site. I'll be getting a hold of all of you, to sit down and start going over budget stuff. I've already talked with a few of them. I've been talking with Zach, and I've been talking with Sandy, and I talked with Nicole. So we've got more to do. We're gonna start in this budget process. I think Sean had a great idea. We'll pass this stuff back and forth electronically on our computers as we work on it.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
That was nice last year, thanks.
Yeah, I, actually, you guys saw some traffic with Nicole asking, I talked to her briefly today and said, you have all of it right in front of you, go through and fill it in.
Plug it in.
We'll take a look for a second, then we get the department heads in, and then we can circulate everybody in electronically. It's
Yep.
easier and less hours.
Yep.
The next item is the reinvest CDs. I don't have all the numbers and rates and everything that I tried to get from everybody for this meeting. So,
October is the soonest one, right? We got one coming in October, I think is the soonest.
we got four
All in October?
$250,000 ones.
Okay.
Yep.
Alright.
Okay. And the last one, I had a conversation with Rob, and we were in the back room, and I'm asking questions about these solar panels, and Rob came up with a brief discussion about the things that we should be doing with these solar panels, and how we should be monitoring them, and watching them, and checking them, and make sure they're working, and they have lights, and they have all types of things on the big boxes. And we have these solar panels in 3 of our buildings, right, Rob?
Here, the arena and the transfer site.
Yeah. So I'm gonna work on putting together a quick little policy with the help of Rob of how these things should be checked, and it should be done every month. We don't know if these things are working or not.
These are working. We know these are. It's real simple. You just once a month, you write down the output, what they've done for that month. Make sure there's no red lights on, and that's basically a quick check. It's not a big deal.
Not a big deal, just something that's never been done here, and we need to.
Right. And that's the biggest reason, some of these, so if the inverter goes down, if a board burns out or something, or bad connection, and then it could go years without being noticed, so you should just check them.
How long have they been here?
2009,
2009? Yep, okay.
16 years.
So that's all I have. Anybody have anything else they wanna add, or any other public concerns that they have? No?
Nope.
Somebody wanna make a motion?
I'll make a motion to go into executive session to discuss possible litigation and employment matters.
Motion by Sean, second by Tim. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, none. Thank you for coming.
Yep, thanks for coming, everybody.
Thank you.
And we'll put that stuff on the website that we talked about. And we'll do a continued update